This video has been sought after by many people. Many people in the past have asked me to make this video. Well, today I'm giving it to you. This video is about loi Bawon kriminel. But before I start, I want to say, in a Catholic sense, Bawon kriminel has been synchronized with Saint Martin de Porres. Now, I'm not going to give a great history on the life of Saint Martin de Porres, but what I will talk mainly about is the spirit of Bawon kriminel. Now, we have to understand the images which the Catholic saints, of the Catholic saints, what are they? These are like mirrors. They're like portals that allow us to communicate with certain spirits of that same stream of energy. Now, when we're talking about Bawon kriminel is considered by many the manifestation or the aspect of God that represents an individual who has been convicted of a crime. But in a sense, when you delve deeper into your meditation, you realize that the conviction was unmerited. It was a faulty conviction. I know online they say, he's been convicted of a crime, convicted of murder, and he's, set to die. Well, I would say this: if a person has had the time to commune directly with the spirit, then they would understand that there's a lot of error behind what many read on the internet. Now, Bawon kriminel, he shows us that in order to get to him, you have to go through Kafu. And this is why they say in Haitian voodoo, si Kafu pa bay, Cimetière pa pran. Which means if Kafu doesn't give, the cemetery doesn't take. What does this mean? It means if the crossroads does not give, the cemetery does not take. Which means in order to meet the spirit realm, in order to meet death, the crossroads has to give your soul up. With this, we find many things, especially when you look at the synchronizations of Saint Martin de Porres. You see a message being revealed to us, the long dark robe that Saint Martin has, and you see the people with illness in back of him. This is a great mystery beyond mysteries. When you see the cross, as the scripture says, they will bear their cross. Basically every one of the conditions in life that we go through, whether it's good or bad, this is the cross that we are bearing. When we see the image of Saint Martin de Porres, if we contemplate and allow our spirit to reveal to us what it's conveying, we will see that it's conveying a very mystical message. When you summon the esprit or the spirit of Bawon Lacroix, you usually get that he doesn't come just because you summon him. This is the great mystery. And you find the same thing with Saint Martin de Porres. The way they commune with you, it is almost as though they're not present. Their communion with you is from a distance. Bawon kriminel is the same way. The way he communes with us is through a distance. Bawon kriminel does not come to us when we summon him. He comes to us on his own time. But when you get to Bawon kriminel, you realize that you get to nowhere. And this is the mystery of death. Because death, there's no bounds, there's no boundary, there's no color, there's no sound, there is absolutely nothingness. But before you get to this void, you have to go through the cross. And if you go back into my previous video, you hear my breakdown of the cross. Some things in this world that we can do, that we view as crimes are not always necessarily crimes. Some of these are acts of God. Some of these acts are permitted to or allowed to occur. Everything that happens in this world happens for a reason. When you look at the image of Saint Martin, you see that he is a man bearing a cross. And that cross represents the power that is being yielded by Saint Martin. But what does that mean spiritually? It means that before death, the power of the crossroads, it has the ability to give the situations where it's needed. So therefore, this individual, they reap what they sow. This is your lot. This is your cross. You will bear this. If you did good deeds, here you will merit this. Now, when you go deeper into the understanding, you say to yourself, the man on the cross represents an individual that is bearing the weight of the world. He is bearing the sins of or our transgression. So when you see this image, you have a dual reality occurring. You have the spirit of death and you have the just judge working together. And when you are in our understanding, when we think of Bawon kriminel, we just think of one entity. But in reality, when we're looking at the synchronization of Saint Martin, we find something else. This is a collage to make up the individual which we see as Bawon kriminel and Saint Martin. This reality is inseparable. So for Saint Martin, Christ was inseparable for him. For Bawon, Cashapp is inseparable to him. You have to understand, why is it that Bawon kriminel is full of rage? When you look at a person that has been convicted of a crime, that person's in rage. That person's mad because now they're giving their life to a system that they were not responsible for the crime the system convicted them of. This is why Bawon kriminel is always enraged. He's enraged because he wants to take vengeance out on those who have wrongly accused him. So when you hear the second coming of Christ, they say that he is going to be I think in Thessalonians, they talk about he's going to come as a raging fire, taking vengeance out on those that do not know him. And basically, when Christ comes back, according to the scripture, he's coming back to take vengeance out on those who have offended him and the Father. Some say Christ and God are one. But we see the mystical meaning behind this is that there is a principle in the universe which gives to those who have given. The reaction can either be good or it can be bad. Bawon kriminel is a principle. It is a principle. The spirit of Cashapp is a principle. And these two are inseparable. When you say Bawon, in order to have Bawon kriminel, you have to have Cashapp. Si Cimetière pa bay, si Cashapp pa bay, Cimetière pa pran. In life, we shouldn't always ask God, why is this happening to us? We should ask, what did we do to deserve what we have received? When we harm one another, we affect the whole. Bawon kriminel is the energy between cause and effect. Bawon kriminel is here only to give people what they deserve. Revenge is the key to survival. No matter what we do, there's always going to be someone that's getting even or wants to get even. When you hear that God will bring judgment to your enemies. They will carry their cross. It means exactly what it means. When you are wronged and you have Bawon kriminel in your life, your enemies will speak. They will see judgment come at their doorstep. They will bear their cross, because the cross is the retribution for their actions.